So today I'm sharing a super easy way to make any template you want without spending a fortune. So in today's video, all we're gonna need is some Hotfix of your likings. This is actually beadlin Hotfix rhinestones, and I got these from Amazon. I absolutely love them. One thing to pay attention to when you are buying your rhinestones is first make sure that they're Hotfix, and that just means that they're able to be ironed onto your shirt. Number two is when you're doing your template or your project, you need to pay attention to the stone size. So SS is the stone size. Today's video, I'm going to be using stone size 10. It also tells you for these specific rhinestones, these for stone size 10 are 2.7 to 2.9 millimeters. I know each rhinestone brand may or may not be different, so you'll just want to pay attention to that. So this is what I'll be using in the video. I have two different flocks and they both work really well. This one I bought on Amazon and it's less expensive, and it comes with a few transfer sheets. I also have this flock from the warehouse transfer, which I'm going to be using today, but both work great. I'll also be using beadlin transfer film since I already used up all the transfer film from the blue flock. I also bought a rhinestone pencil picker and a trim and touch-up pad. You can really use anything. You can even use a paintbrush. I've used a brayer before, and you'll also want a pan sheet or whatever works best for you for kind of catching up all the extra rhinestones. I'll leave everything in the descriptions below, so let's get started. So if you've ever used rhinestones before, you know you can buy the image or the letters on Etsy, Creative Fabrica, design bundles, or even in Cricut Design Space. So I was over in Creative Fabrica and I was looking for a design, and I found this really cool design. Let me show it to you. So it was this Diet Coke, and I thought this was so cute, but I did not like the design per se. I didn't like the way they did the Coke with the little fancy little thing here, so I decided to create my own. So I went into Google and I typed in Diet Coke and then logo and clip art, and I hit enter, and then I just looked for the design that I liked the best. So you'll want to go ahead and click on the one that you like and save it to your desktop. Then I went over to remove.bg. So I uploaded the image, and then it will automatically remove the background, and then you'll want to hit download and free download. Next I went into Cricut Design Space. So I went ahead, uploaded the image, continue and apply, and then you want to select single layer because this will upload it as a cut file, and then upload. Here's a guideline that works for me for your stone size measurements, and again I'm using a stone size 10, so my circle should roughly be at 0.130 inches. If you were to go over here into shapes and insert a circle, and you'll go up to the measurement, unlock it, and I'll type in here 0.130 and 0.130. This is what the size of the circle would be. Next, I started applying the circles over the letters to create my own rhinestone template. I had to make several duplicates of the circle and place them around the letters, making sure that they weren't too close to one another. Otherwise, it would create a hole that's too big. You'll also need to make sure you're aligning them so they all look evenly spaced. Then comes the design decision. Do you want to fill the letters in or just do a border? If you decide to fill it in, does that little circle fit between the borders that you just made, or do you now need to adjust the border so you can fit a circle in the middle? Basically, it's a lot of work. That's when I decided to head on over to Copilot and see if that was something that he could create for me. Knowing that the measurement for my circle needed to be 0.130, I asked Copilot, would you be able to make a template for rhinestones for an image and have the circles be 0.130? And he said, absolutely. So all I needed to do was upload the specific image and tell him what software I plan to use it with and the stone type and also the spacing. So he wanted to know, do I want a full fill, contour, outline, scattered effect, all that detail. So I went ahead and uploaded the image that I wanted to use, and since Diet Coke is one of those where it is not a royalty-free image, I needed to let him know that this is something that I'm not going to sell. This is for personal use only. So I uploaded the image and I told him this is for personal use only, and he said, great, since it's for personal use, we can focus purely on getting the rhinestone layout right without worrying about any licensing or commercial restrictions. And he went ahead and set it up for me. So I went ahead and told him, yes, I want the Coke filled and the diet outlined. Spacing recommended is fine. And I said I'd be using the Cricut Design Space software. So I really was not expecting him to do a really good job because I had previously asked ChatGPT and his was way wonky, and I thought, he can't do this at all. I don't think anyone can. But then I tried Copilot and look how amazing of a job he did. I think this turned out really good. I went ahead and I downloaded this. So next you'll head on over to Cricut Design Space. We're going to upload the image and you'll want to select the PNG rhinestone template that you just downloaded, and we're going to go ahead and hit continue, and then you'll see that there's a white background. I'm just going to click on that, and then that removes the background, and we're going to go ahead and hit apply, continue. Then all we're going to do is select single layer, and that will upload it as a cut file or an SVG file, and we'll go ahead and hit continue, and there it is, upload. Now we have the image that we're going to use, and it's not perfect, but let me tell you, it is a lot better than what I was doing because that was a lot of work. So now that we have this image uploaded, we want to make sure that Google Pilot did the correct size that we wanted. Even though we told them we wanted 0.130, we want to confirm that that is correct. Here into shapes, and I inserted a circle, change the color, go up to more, change the dimensions, and we're gonna set the size to 0.130 by 0.130. And what we want to do is just confirm that Google Pilot did the correct size for us. So all you would do is just take your dimension and you would want to place it over it and just confirm that that is the right size. And you can, if it's not, you can actually make this bigger and see how the circle gets bigger, or you can go ahead and make it smaller. So you'll just go ahead and adjust it so it is correct. This actually seemed perfect. So now we're ready to go ahead and add the flock in the background because you want this to cut on flock, and right now it's not cutting on anything. So we're going to go over here to shapes. We're going to insert a square, and let's go ahead and just change it to pink. We're going to go over here to more, unlock, and we're just going to drag this out. You can either set it to measure the size of the flock that you're using, or if you want it to fit more snugly on your image, you can do that as well. So this is the size I'm going to use for the image. So I'm going to go ahead and do arrange, bring to front. Actually, this looks like a perfect size. We can actually make it a little bit smaller if we want. And keep in mind that when you are cutting this is something that you get to save and reuse over and over. So now what we're gonna do is go ahead and select both of these, and I'm going to group them together and then hit attached. That way, this will now cut the dots and then go ahead and cut the border for the flock. So we want to make sure to hit save. Go ahead and hit make it on the mat, confirm, and continue. And I already set up my material, so I called it custom blue flock. But if you don't already have yours, the way I created that was you would just go to browse all material, and then we would go ahead and click on material settings, scroll down here to the bottom and do add new material, and we're going to go ahead and give it a name. So we can type in flock, and we'll type in pink, and then you'll hit save. And then you're going to scroll up here, and this is where it is. You want to go ahead and select the pressure. Wherever you purchased it, it should tell you what pressure you should use. But the pressure that I used was actually 245. So we're just going to drag this down or over to 245. And then I had mine go twice because you want to definitely make sure that it cuts it. You don't want it not to cut all the way through. And then we're going to hit save. That is all you do. All right, we're gonna go back up here and just X that out. Then you would go to browse all material, and you would just type in what you just did. So I would type in flock and enter, and then I would have pink flock right here. I'm going to go ahead and just keep the custom blue since that is already bookmarked. So we're going to go ahead and go back, and we're just going to select custom blue. Something that I also like to do is select more options because I just want to make sure that it cuts through. You'll notice I peeled the backing and I placed the flock directly on the Cricut mat. If you haven't worked with flock before, it has a sticky texture, so you'll want to make sure that it's laying flat. I also like to use a brayer to smooth it out, get rid of any of the bubbles, and also don't toss the backing because we will be using that later. And then we're going to go ahead and just place it in the Cricut and hit go. All right, so we just want to make sure that it went ahead and it cut this. So we're just going to leave it on here and just kind of pull it up. Perfect. All right, if it wasn't cut all the way, all you would have to do is press this again and it would go ahead and just repeat, but it looks like it's good. So we're going to go ahead and take it off. We can go ahead and pull this up, and most of it will actually stay on the mat. But here, most of it is there, but we can also rub over here just a little bit. And then that just kind of helps it, the dots come out, the circles. You can see most of it is sticking to the mat, which will make it a lot easier. And I'll show you how to get it off of the mat as well. But we're just gonna go ahead and pull it all up. So this is what we have, and it actually looks really good. Maybe like 13 or 14 that did not come off, so that is amazing. So I went ahead and put it back on the sheet that it came on, just so it's sticking to this instead of the table. And for some reason I threw it away, so I scrumpled it up. I don't know why I did that. So we're just gonna go ahead and pick off the rest of the dots. This is really easy. All you're going to do is take a scraper and you're just going to scrape it off. That's all you have to do. I'm just gonna wipe it off. Next, I place the flock on the cookie sheet. So when I pour the rhinestones on top, they stayed in a contained area and they don't end up on the floor. You'll also want to make sure that the flock is completely laid flat, so no rhinestones end up falling underneath the flock. I started with the red rhinestones and I poured them over the Coke, and then used the trim brush to softly brush over the areas so the rhinestones would fall into the cut areas. I continued doing that. I also used the picker pencil to grab rhinestones and move them around as needed. Then I tried to pick up as many of the red rhinestones as possible and put them back into the bag. After that, I did did the same thing with dye it, this time using the crystal color. Once I was done with that, I carefully tried to put the unused ones back into the bag. If you're using just one color of rhinestones, it is a lot easier to clean up and get them back into the bag. You don't have to worry about mixing colors. Then I took the transfer film, placed it over the flock with the rhinestones, and I gently rubbed over it. I ended up just using my hands, but you can always use a brayer. Then I slowly peeled the transfer film off the flock, and the rhinestones stayed nicely on the film. You can also place it back onto the transfer film backing sheet if you're not going to iron it on right away. Then you can remove the flock from the cookie sheet and place it back on the backing sheet. And remember that this is your template and you can continue to reuse it over and over. All right, so we are setting the temperature to 356, which on this it's 355. We're gonna go ahead and pre-press this shirt and get it ready while this preheats. And we're gonna take a lint roller first, just kind of go over it. Just gonna pre-press it for like 10 seconds just to take the moisture out. Okay. And next what I'm gonna do is fold this right in half and then press it so we get a crease right down the middle, so I know exactly where the middle is. Okay, let's just go ahead and do a quick press right down the middle. I just did that for 5 seconds. And now we're gonna go ahead and open this up. And we know where the middle is. Now you can see that little line. So we're just gonna carefully take this off. And we're going to place this right here, which for some reason I got some stuff on here. That's weird. We're gonna go ahead and just kind of set this here. And then I wanna make sure that this is about 3 inches down, which it is. This is so cute. But now we're gonna go ahead and press it. You don't need to place anything on top of it. We're gonna do this for about 15 seconds at 356 or 355. And we're just gonna do this for a second. So this is a warm press. So we're gonna go ahead and remove it. Whoa, this is so adorable, I can already tell. And let's go ahead and turn this off. Look at this, isn't this adorable? Look, that is so cute, so adorable. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video and found it helpful. Make sure to give it a thumbs up if you did. It really helps the algorithm. Also, make sure to share it with a friend that you know loves to bling. And last but not least, make sure to hit that subscribe button below so you don't miss any future videos. Thanks for watching, guys.